Sit back and enjoy an hour of fascinating facts you didn't know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. In Japan, a prototype called Katsugyo bag has been presented, designed to transport live fish until they are prepared for cooking. It functions as a portable capsule that keeps the fish in optimal conditions during transit. This device includes an oxygen saturation meter, thermostat, and integrated battery. The technique allows the fish to be kept fresh without the need for ice or conventional refrigeration. Its use is intended for specialized gastronomy. This terrifying fish is the abyssal anglerfish, and it is one of the fish that show an enormous gender difference. Females can measure up to 1 meter long and weigh up to 30 kilograms, while males only measure 2 centimeters. The males depend completely on the females to survive and live as parasites of them, since they join their bodies and in a few weeks their blood vessels and flesh have completely fused. They basically become a single fish. Some females can have up to 8 males attached to them. What appears to be a single needle on a mosquito's head are actually 6. 2 pierce the skin, 2 move the tissue, 1 absorbs the plasma, and the other injects chemicals that allow the fluid to flow faster. Although it seems incredible, a dog in the United States inherited $5 million. American businessman Bill Doris stated in his last will that all his money should be used for the maintenance and well-being of his dog Lulu, an 8-year-old border collie. The $5 million went into a trust so that the dog's new caretaker, Martha Burton, could cover her needs. However, people do not believe that $5 million can be spent on just one dog. Bee bearding is a practice in which thousands of bees cluster on a person's face. It is achieved by placing a queen inside a small cage under the participant's neck. Worker bees congregate due to the attraction of her pheromones. It is performed at agricultural fairs as a demonstration of the peaceful behavior of bees. It is a controlled practice and does not usually cause stings. The oldest dog in the world lived to be 29.5 years old. Although the average age a dog reaches is usually around 10 to 15 years, an Australian cattle dog named Bluey survived to the ripe old age of 29.5 years, almost double the average life expectancy of his breed, and was in fact euthanized. In April of 2021, hundreds of swifts entered homes through chimneys in Torrance and Montecito, California, during their migration. The birds became trapped, and the intervention of firefighters and wildlife services was necessary to free them. This unusual event was probably due to a combination of factors. Swifts, which naturally nest in cavities, may have mistaken unused chimneys for safe places to rest or take refuge during their long migratory journey. This is a very rare one-eyed shark. It looks like a terrifying cyclops. In reality, it is not a new species. It is an embryo that was found in the uterus of an already deceased adult shark. So far, only 2 specimens with this condition known as cyclopia, a congenital deformity that manifests during gestation, have been found. Since none have been seen alive, it is believed that they die shortly after birth. In Peru, there is a juice made from frogs. It is a smoothie originating from indigenous communities, but it has spread to the rest of the population due to alleged health benefits. Its preparation is very controversial, as it affects the local frog population, and believe it or not, some of the frog species used are endangered. Some birds take ant baths. They perch on the anthills of European red ants, which, as a defense mechanism, secrete formic acid, a natural insecticide. This behavior has been observed in more than 250 bird species. In Perth, Australia, blue-banded bees, a native species called Amygilla cingulata, recognizable by their turquoise stripes, have been recorded. These bees do not produce honey, are solitary, and primarily pollinate blue flowers by buzzing. There is another blue bee known as Osmia calaminthe, rediscovered in Florida in 2020 after years without records. Although they share the color, they are not related and do not share a common habitat. The calamintha bee lives in a limited area and is considered extremely rare. Dozens of baby spiders cover a bee. It is very likely that these spiderlings have mistaken their mother for this queen bee. There are many spider species that carry their young on their backs for a while until they grow. The dog breed that doesn't bark is the Basenji, a dog with little temperament and a different vocal apparatus from other dogs, hence its peculiar non-barks. The Basenji has narrower and thinner vocal cords than other dogs, which is why the sound it emits is so unique. It is said that this breed was intentionally created using selective breeding methods thousands of years ago. Has it ever happened to you that your pet sleeps at your feet? You should know that this behavior is not only due to comfort, but also to an emotional bond. By resting close, Dogs can be alert to certain signals, expressing their desire to accompany you when you are about to leave. This little zebra finch named Mame learned to get on his skateboard and slide down a ramp. Zebra finches are small, active birds known for their intelligence and learning ability. They are native to Australia. This is the proboscis monkey, a species with a curious nose, which is long, bulging, and fleshy. Researchers believe it plays a role in mate selection because females prefer males with larger noses, as it allows them to make louder vocalizations. This animal feeds mainly on fruits and tree leaves, and both genders have bulging stomachs, so these monkeys have something similar to a belly. Recorded in Madagascar, this is a long and strong spider web. It is likely from the Darwin's bark spider, as these are native to Madagascar and have one of the strongest, as well as one of the longest, webs. They are stronger than Kevlar fiber of the same thickness. Kevlar is a very light and resistant material used for making tires and bulletproof vests. Meet the orchid mantis, a beautiful but deadly insect. This insect has almost perfect camouflage that makes it nearly invisible to its prey. Koalas are known for their quiet lifestyle and tendency to sleep long hours. They spend most of the day sleeping, approximately 18 to 20 hours, which allows them to conserve energy due to their low-energy eucalyptus leaf diet. Cats have an extra bone in their collarbone that allows them to squeeze through small spaces. Unlike humans, cats have a floating collarbone, which allows them to twist and move in very tight spaces. This bone is not attached to other bones, which gives them that surprising flexibility, making them masters of escapes. During shark fishing season, they are so abundant that it is normal to see these types of scenes in which a larger shark hangs from a smaller shark, which fell for some fisherman's bait. This is a representation of the food chain that exists in nature. This is the defense method that bees use to repel wasps. It consists of a kind of synchronized dance on the outside of the hive. The waves that are generated, added to an intense buzzing that the bees emit when their wings rub against each other, disorient the wasps and prevent them from entering the hive. To create this great effect, thousands of bees must work together in perfect synchrony, a magnificent example of teamwork. The chicks of the golden plover species have a peculiar plumage that allows them to camouflage themselves with the environment. And this is a natural adaptation because this species nests on the ground. Its pigmentation, if it were simply white, would attract the attention of predators and they would not be able to live for long. That is why they have developed these curious patterns in their feathers. This sheep escaped from a farm and lived for 6 long years in the mountains, during which time it grew almost 30 kilograms of wool. Wolves and other animals tried to eat it, but their teeth could not penetrate its fluffiness. It returned years later, safe and sound. This is what an eagle's ear looks like. Unlike us humans, its ear is not curved, but is a straight structure. This allows them to easily differentiate whether a sound is coming from above, below, or from either side. They also do not have ears because these would interfere with their aerodynamic design. Details like these allow them to dive at hundreds of kilometers per hour without anything happening to them. The mating dance of ostriches is a courtship that males perform to attract females and be able to reproduce. I present to you Exer, the most wrinkled cat in the world. This cat has managed to conquer a whole community of internet users with its characteristic and terrifying appearance. It currently has almost 35,000 followers, among whom it causes authentic sensations. Xer belongs to the Sphinx cat breed, whose most striking characteristic is the apparent absence of hair and its thin and slender appearance. The first Oscar awarded at the Academy Awards in the Best Actor category was going to be won by Rin Tin Tin, a German shepherd dog who starred in many films. However, considering that the image of the awards could be affected if they gave the award to a dog in the first edition, they finally gave the Oscar to Emil Jannings. Wombats make their waist in the shape of a cube. Unlike other animals, wombats have the strange ability to produce cube-shaped feces. This helps them prevent their feces from rolling down hills, which makes it easier for them to mark their territory. Scientists believe that the cubic shape comes from their intestine, which is very flexible in certain areas. In November of 2021, an intense storm hit the city of Aswan, Egypt. The rains caused floods in a region where the climate is usually extremely dry. This forced scorpions and snakes to abandon their shelters and approach inhabited areas. More than 500 people were hospitalized, and at least 3 deaths were recorded from stings. The species responsible was the highly venomous fat-tailed scorpion, which is common in that area. Meet the American blue rabbit. This breed was created in 1917 by a man named Louis Salisbury, who never revealed what breeds he used to create it. It is suspected that he used 3 different breeds of rabbits, 2 of which were already extinct, which makes it impossible to replicate it, and the breed would cease to exist if they did not reproduce with each other. Although its creation remains a mystery, what we are sure of is that it looks incredibly adorable. Imagine an animal that had no respiratory or circulatory system, that had no eyes, that was a hermaphrodite and had the ability to regenerate the parts of its body that it lost, in addition to having the potential to be immortal. Well, that living being exists and is among us. It is the planarian, a small flatworm. Glass is a big problem for birds. This sad figure released about bird crashes against windows is surprising. It is estimated that between 100 million and 1 billion birds die each year in the United States alone. Caterpillars have more muscles than humans. A caterpillar has approximately 4,000 muscles in its body, while humans only have around 600. This incredible amount of muscles allows caterpillars to move with great flexibility, which makes it easy for them to climb and move between the leaves of plants. The parietal eye, or third eye, is a common physiological feature in fish, amphibians, and reptiles. You may not have even noticed it, since with the naked eye it is almost impossible to see. It is a small pale spot that is in the center of the animal's head, but scientists do not know its exact function. It is believed to function as a light detector that helps them regulate their sleep cycle. However, this is just speculation. Have you ever seen a hairy tree? The strange mass of hair is nothing more than an accumulation of harvestmen, an extensive family of arthropods related to spiders. Harvestmen are not poisonous and cannot weave webs because they lack the glands to carry out that task. Some monkeys can be so smart that they use electronic devices like cell phones, just as you see in these images. In addition, electronic devices of this time are designed so that anyone can use them. Well, not only people, but also animals. The phenomenon called the death spiral occurs when a group of ants begins to follow each other in a closed loop, losing reference to the pheromones that normally guide their march. This behavior has been observed in blind army ants and can last for hours or even days. The ants involved end up dying of exhaustion. The onychophoran, known as a velvet worm, captures prey such as cockroaches using an adhesive slime that it shoots from oral papillae. Although their eyes are simple and they have limited vision, they are not completely blind. Some species can launch this substance up to distances close to 45 centimeters, although there is no universal measure. They inhabit tropical and humid regions from Mexico to Argentina. The caterpillar called the flannel moth caterpillar or puss caterpillar, belonging to the species Megalopyge opercularis, lives from the United States to Colombia, and is distinguished by its body covered with hairs that hide poisonous spines capable of causing intense pain on contact, in some cases compared to that of a fracture. However, the reaction varies depending on each person's sensitivity, and not everyone presents severe symptoms, although discomfort such as nausea or inflammation may appear. Despite its toxicity, no associated deaths have been reported, and it is advisable to avoid any direct contact. The golden snub-nosed monkey is a primate endemic to the mountainous regions of China, such as Sichuan, Shanxi, and Gansu, where it lives in temperate forests that usually have snow. It adapts to cold climates and feeds mainly on fruits, leaves, buds, and pine needles, depending on the season. It is part of large groups that are subdivided into units led by a dominant male with 5 or 6 females and their young. It is considered the only primate that routinely tolerates snow. It is listed as a vulnerable species due to habitat loss. Its social behavior is complex and hierarchical. It is one of the most unique species of Chinese fauna. The Asian elephant can be trained to perform acts such as painting for tourists, although it does not understand the meaning of its strokes. This behavior is the result of years of conditioning, in which the caretaker guides its movements through physical stimuli, such as pulling the ear in different directions to indicate the strokes. Elephants have large brains with hundreds of billions of neurons, although their density per cubic millimeter is lower than that of humans. The painting activity is a memorized repetition, not a conscious artistic expression. Bombardier beetles belong to the family Carabidae and use a unique defensive mechanism that consists of expelling a hot chemical mixture from the abdomen. This reaction generates a high-temperature explosion capable of repelling or eliminating insects. The mixture contains hydroquinone and hydrogen peroxide, which when combined reach temperatures close to 100 degrees Celsius. They are carnivores and feed on other invertebrates. Their range can exceed 20 centimeters. The mane of a male lion is an indicator of his health and strength. Females tend to prefer males with a darker and fuller mane. Meet Narwhal, the famous puppy who was born with a second tail on his head. He has been named this in honor of the narwhal fish, known as the unicorn of the seas due to the tail it has on its head. He was abandoned by his first family, but is now part of the Max Mission Canine Rescue Center, located in Missouri, being the symbol of the organization. On the other hand, his veterinarian assured that there was no real reason to remove the second tail, since it does not represent any danger to the life of the charming animal. This is a small school of fish moving. They follow this type of formation for strategic and survival purposes. They do it to protect themselves and to mislead their predators. While some are feeding, the others protect as if they were a single subject. The Giraffe Manor is a boutique hotel located in Nairobi, Kenya, famous for allowing guests to feed Rothschild giraffes from the restaurant windows or rooms. These giraffes are part of a reserve dedicated to their conservation. The main building, in a colonial style, was built in the 1930s and restored to offer luxury accommodation. The rate per night usually exceeds $300 per person, although it can vary depending on the season and the type of room. The place has gained notoriety for its close experience with these animals and its focus on conservation. Meet the sailor cats. These traveled aboard ships and their job was to eliminate rodents. The curious thing is that they have official identification that they even signed with their paw. Mangalica pigs are colloquially known as sheep pigs. This pig, a native of Hungary, has abundant wool-like hair that sometimes makes you doubt whether the animal is a pig or a sheep. The antlion larva can pretend to be lifeless for more than an hour to avoid being eaten. According to a study carried out by 3 biologists from the University of Bristol in the United Kingdom, in most cases the predator chose to look for another prey, while these insects escaped with their lives. This is the Monkeyland Primate Sanctuary in South Africa, a refuge that provides a safe home for various primate species. The primate shown is a gibbon, a small ape species native to Southeast Asia. Gibbons are famous for their acrobatic skills and, as mentioned, are not afraid of falling from the bridge due to the length and strength of their enormous arms and hands. Their anatomy is perfectly adapted for brachiation, moving by swinging through branches. And in the skeleton, you can see how long their arms are in proportion to their body, which gives them an unmatched advantage in their arboreal habitat. Horse sweat is special because of its content of latherin, a protein that helps to form foam. This foamy sweat is more visible on the neck, chest, and flanks during intense exercise. In addition, it is salty due to its high concentration of electrolytes such as sodium, chloride, and potassium. These minerals are essential for regulating body temperature and fluid balance. The foam facilitates evaporation and heat dissipation. This strange frog is unable to land on its feet, landing on its side, back, or even its nose. It simply hops and stiffens its body to fall uncontrollably. It is an amphibian endemic to the Amazon, known locally as the Bruno frog, Leptodactylus phallax. Although not very graceful in its landing, it can be found from Brazil to Colombia. Its peculiar way of falling is part of its survival strategy in its habitat. The Norwegian Lundehund is a breed of dog native to Norway. It has a unique characteristic, 6 toes on each front paw. This adaptation gives it greater stability on rocky terrain. Historically, it was bred to hunt puffins on cliffs. In Kruger National Park, South Africa, turtles have been observed sunbathing on the backs of hippos. The turtles need solar heat to regulate their body temperature. Hippos, on the other hand, spend a large part of the day submerged in water to keep cool. Their main activity occurs at night, when they go out to feed. Have you ever seen this strange creature? It is a sea sheep, a species of sea slug. It has only been seen in waters near the coasts of Japan, the Philippines, and Indonesia, and measures just over 10 millimeters. It has a small protuberance with horns, but they are actually chemical sensors that they use to find food. When panda bear cubs raised in captivity reach a certain age, they are separated from their mother to prevent her from harming them. This is how they do it. They distract her with a little food. The steer named Knickers was filmed in Lake Preston, Western Australia, and went viral for its unusual size. Although often mistaken for a cow, it is male and belongs to the Holstein breed. It is almost 2 meters tall and weighs approximately 1,400 kilos, exceeding the typical weight of a bull, which is usually around 1,100 kilos, by several hundred. Its owner claims that it did not receive growth hormones and that it simply lived longer than average. The exceptional growth is considered a natural rarity. Ants can communicate through stridulation, sounds produced by the friction between parts of their bodies. This mechanism does not depend exclusively on the rubbing of legs, but on specialized structures in the abdomen. The vibrations generated are transmitted through the substrate and serve as alarm signals or for social interaction. A seagull was recorded in Japan landing on another in mid-flight, an unusual but real behavior. This act is not associated with mating, as some people assume. Seagulls do not perform aerial courtship through physical contact in flight. The observed behavior could be an opportunistic attempt to rest or displace itself. Saltwater crocodiles are capable of traveling long distances in the ocean. This species has developed special glands that allow them to excrete excess salt, which allows them to survive not only in rivers and estuaries, but also in marine environments. Are you one of those who think that goldfish have a short-term memory? This is a myth that we see from a young age in cartoons when they tell us the story of a goldfish that forgets everything after going around the fishbowl. But that is not the case. Goldfish can remember where you put their food even after 2 weeks. The Indian giant squirrel, also known as Ratufa bicolor, is an impressive species that inhabits the tropical forests of Southeast Asia. This squirrel is known for its bright and multicolored fur that varies between shades of orange, white, black, and brown, which makes it stand out among other species. They can measure up to 1 meter long, including their tail, and are incredibly agile, jumping between trees with great skill. Its vibrant coloration helps it camouflage itself among the leaves. This here is a pink sea cucumber. It usually measures between 10 and 30 centimeters long and lives between 400 and 5,000 meters deep. In Turkey, a tradition over 1,000 years old known as camel wrestling is practiced. It takes place in winter when Tulu camels, hybrids bred for this purpose, compete during the mating season. The event occurs mainly in the Aegean region and is part of Turkish cultural heritage. The practice originated among nomadic Turkic tribes. The fights are controlled and do not involve injuries to the camels. The public attends as part of local festivals. Rattlesnakes shake their rattle to warn of their presence and protect themselves from predators. The rattle is made of hollowed-out keratin segments, the same protein that makes up nails and hair. When the snake shakes the tip of its tail, the segments rub against each other and produce an unmistakable sound. The sound of the rattle deceives threats by making them believe that the snake is closer than it really is. This you see on screen is an elephant bird egg and is worth $200,000. This important historical treasure measures about 31 centimeters and is a unique specimen from an elephant bird, a species that inhabited the island of Madagascar and was much larger than an ostrich. That is why their eggs had that size. Unfortunately, this species became extinct at some point in the 15th century, and for this reason, this egg is such a valuable treasure. The Xenesthus tarantula and the leaf litter frog form an uncommon symbiotic relationship. The frog consumes insects like ants that could damage the tarantula's eggs. In return, the spider offers it shelter and protection against predators such as snakes and other arthropods. This bond has been observed in the Pastaza River region and has been documented by biologists. The giant clam, a species of bivalve mollusk that inhabits the Pacific Oceans, can live for more than 100 years. These impressive creatures are known for their longevity and size, with some reaching lengths of up to 1.2 meters. In a viral video recorded in Pakistan, a donkey pulls a cart with 2 people on board at high speed. The scene takes place on a highway and appears authentic, without accelerated editing. Although some estimate that it reaches between 50 and 60 kilometers per hour, there are no verifiable measurements. The cart has well-inflated tires, which favors inertia. It is possible that the terrain has a decline that increases the apparent speed. The nearby vehicles do not look particularly fast. This is Antonia, a polar bear with dwarfism. Her head and parts of her body are almost normal size, but her legs are unusually short. Antonia measures just 1.35 meters and weighs 130 kilograms. To give you an idea, a female polar bear usually measures over 2.2 meters with a weight of 320 kilograms. She was born in 1989 at the Zoom Experience World Gelsenkirchen Zoo in Germany, weighing just 400 grams. Despite being very small, Antonia lives comfortably in this place, and the keepers and visitors have become very fond of her. In the United States, it is common to see raccoons eating fruits in trees, such as apples. These animals have a tapetum lucidum, an ocular layer that reflects light and improves their night vision. That is why their eyes shine when illuminated, just like in cats and dogs. The raccoon is mainly nocturnal, although it can show crepuscular activity depending on the environment. This eye reflection is an evolutionary adaptation for hunting and moving in the dark. Ctenophores are gelatinous marine animals, found in all the world's oceans except Antarctica. They have varied shapes, including spherical or oval structures. Many are bioluminescent and emit light through internal chemical reactions. Their transparent bodies produce iridescent reflections thanks to rows of mobile cilia. They are an essential part of gelatinous plankton. Their presence indicates functional and complex marine ecosystems. The Brazilian wandering spider, also known as the banana spider, is one of the most venomous in the world. Its venom can cause severe symptoms in humans, such as tachycardia and difficulty breathing. It is an agile predator that feeds mainly on insects, frogs, lizards, and bats. Its wandering behavior makes it difficult to detect in its habitat. Sheep move in groups by gregarious instinct, which helps them protect themselves from predators. It is common for the youngest to follow the veterans, who know better feeding routes. Sometimes they walk in a line through agricultural fields, following the furrows in the ground. These lines guide the way for convenience and the shape of the terrain, not by conscious preference. In Germany, fences are installed along the sides of the road so that cars do not run over frogs. At the end of the day, a person helps them cross. Albinism does not only exist in humans, but also in animals. This is a genetic condition that affects the ability to produce melanin, which causes them to have none or very little. It is a rare disorder that has been documented in almost all vertebrate species, including humans. Albinism can have consequences for animals, such as problems finding food, difficulty protecting themselves, and reproductive problems, among others. In cities like Dujiangyan, near Chengdu, crows have been documented dropping nuts on pedestrian crossings for cars to break them, and then collecting the fruit during the red light. This behavior is considered the deliberate use of tools and demonstrates a high cognitive capacity. Recent studies indicate that certain birds, such as crows and parrots, have a higher neural density than many primates, which allows them to perform complex tasks. These birds show long-term memory, causal reasoning, and problem-solving. The first penicillin tests were carried out on mice. If they had been done on other animals, such as guinea pigs, the story would have been different, as they are allergic. Sperm whales sleep in a vertical position near the surface for brief periods, usually between 10 and 20 minutes. During the rest, some individuals may appear with their heads down or their tails up, although there is no formal registered pattern. They are common in temperate and deep waters of all oceans. Their presence is confirmed in the Mediterranean Sea and the Black Sea. The Australian cockatoo is one of Australia's most representative birds. Its plumage varies by species, although many are white with a yellow crest. They are social and intelligent, living in flocks and showing cooperative behavior. Their strong beak and feet allow them to climb and manipulate food, such as seeds and fruits. They can inhabit various regions, including New Guinea. In captivity, some species can live up to 50 years. Blue whale calves have one of the fastest growth rates in the animal kingdom, because after about a year in the mother's womb, blue whale babies emerge weighing up to 2.5 tons and measuring 8 meters in length. During their first year of life, they feed exclusively on breast milk and can gain up to about 90 kilograms per day. At SeaWorld Orlando Aquarium, 2 dolphins have been recorded forming bubble rings known as toroidal vortices. This behavior has also been observed in belugas and some whales and is interpreted as a form of play. Marine mammals can manipulate these rings, spin them, stretch them, or destroy them at will. Humans also make them with their mouths or hand movements. The species Chitinoides ales, known as the electric clam, inhabits reefs in Indonesia. It does not generate electricity. Its flashes come from tissues that reflect ambient light as if they were neon lights. This visual effect has generated scientific interest due to its possible defensive or attractive function. It is believed that the flashes could confuse predators, although there is still no consensus. The phenomenon is the result of the iridescent structure of its tissues. One of the animals with the most resistant shells is the armadillo. To give you an idea of how strong it can be, you should know that one of these survived after a person tried to kill it with a shot. This was because the shell was able to bounce the projectile. However, they cannot be considered proof against everything. Their structure is simply very hard because it is made up of bony plates covered by keratin. And although they protect them from many predators, some have adapted to break it. This is how an ultrasound is performed on the largest shark species in the world, whale sharks. They measure about 12 meters long, but since they usually swim at depths of more than 1,800 meters, not much is known about their behavior. This is why a group of marine biologists has dived into the sea to study their reproductive system. The researchers were equipped with wetsuits, a propulsion system, an oxygen tank, and of course, an ultrasound machine. The objective is to investigate them to be able to help them and prevent their population from continuing to decrease. Every autumn, Madrid celebrates the Fiesta de la Transhumancia to make visible the traditional transit of livestock through drovers' roads. This route is protected by the Law on Drovers' Roads of 1995, which recognizes these roads as public domain. Although not limited to winter, the transhuman practice involves seeking milder climates in that season. The event brings together thousands of sheep, shepherds, and onlookers in the urban center. It arose in 1994 as a cultural and environmental claim. This is a drawing made with poultry, a unique form of ephemeral art. An anonymous artist uses seeds and props on the ground to guide the birds to form a simple figure. This living work of art is temporary, existing only while the birds feed. Zebras cannot sleep alone. In nature, zebras only feel safe sleeping if they are accompanied by other zebras that can alert them to predators. To rest deeply, one zebra always needs another to stay awake and vigilant. This is how they ensure their survival in the wild. Ants are fascinating insects with impressive strength, capable of lifting objects much heavier than themselves. Videos in India and Bangladesh show ants transporting unusual objects, such as a metal necklace and a piece of plastic. Although it is often believed that they use them to build their nests, it is more likely that they are removing them from the entrances to clear the way, or, in the case of the metal, they are simply moving it out of curiosity. The hippopotamus is the most dangerous mammal in Africa and is responsible for more human deaths on the continent than any other animal. It kills around 500 people a year in Africa and is twice as lethal as lions. In Hebei, China, a donkey is shown whose hooves have not been trimmed for years. This happens with captive animals that do not walk in the field and, therefore, their hooves do not wear down. In China, each of these hooves can be sold for about 2,000 yuan or approximately $300. Meet the southern elephant seal. Look at this image next to a human to get an idea of how big it is. Of course, its name is due to its large size, since it can reach 4.5 meters and weigh 4,000 kilograms, although it is also known as an elephant seal due to the presence in the adult male of a proboscis that hangs over its mouth and can be inflated along with a bag over the snout. The moth has the best hearing in the animal kingdom. To give you an idea, a human being can hear a frequency of up to 20 kilohertz, but the moth can hear up to 300 kilohertz. Meet the Asian paradise flycatcher. The males have a pair of long central tail feathers, and in some populations, they have black and rufous plumage, while in others, they have white plumage. Meet the pygmy right whale. It is the smallest of the baleen whales. The body is compact, the head is relatively small, and the respiratory orifices are located in a slight dorsal depression. It lives in temperate waters with a temperature that ranges between 5 and 20 degrees Celsius. Have you heard someone say the expression, "You are crying crocodile tears"? It is used to express feigned crying and originates precisely because the crocodile cries when it feeds. But they are not exactly tears of emotion, but a totally biological reaction. This reptile does not chew its prey, it just swallows it. As its salivary glands are very close to its tear ducts, when it moves its jaw, it begins to cry. This is the leaf frog, a species that is practically undetectable on the ground unless it moves, since this frog uses its leaf-like appearance to camouflage itself in the forest. It can be found on the forest floors of Southeast Asia. Meet the lesser peaches, the smallest armadillo in the world. These animals are native to Argentina, although it is very difficult to see them in their natural habitat, as they spend most of their time digging in underground tunnels. Unfortunately, this species is currently endangered due to the destruction of its habitat. The giraffe is the tallest animal in the world. It can reach a height of up to 6 meters. Its long neck allows it to reach the highest leaves of the trees. In the last 15 years, the giraffe population has decreased from 140,000 to 80,000 specimens. 150 years ago, it is estimated that there were 2 million giraffes on the planet. The shoebill is a rare and large bird, known for its enormous shoe-shaped beak. It inhabits swamps in eastern and central Africa, including Uganda, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Zambia. It can reach up to 1.50 meters in height. Its behavior is solitary and silent. It is one of the most unique birds on the African continent. The eyes of octopuses are different from those of vertebrate animals, since despite being similar, they actually evolved on their own. The difference is that they have photoreceptor cells that are oriented towards light. Their visual nerves pass behind their retina. Therefore, they have no blind spot. In Kamchatka, Russia, swarms of mosquitoes have been documented forming visible columns above the ground. They are swarms of males that rotate around females to mate. Although they look like tornadoes, they do not pose a danger or bite. This phenomenon occurs in summer in humid areas. Mosquitoes live for between 2 and 4 weeks. Males die after fertilizing and females after laying eggs. Some farmers in New Zealand are already beginning to use drones to herd their sheep. Technology in the agricultural field is not at all new, since there are several fields in which it is already being used. But farmers say that the use of drones allows them to be more efficient when herding their sheep, which saves them time. In addition, these drones come equipped with speakers to emit sounds like dog barking, which helps even more. Birds that fly close to the water's surface take advantage of the ground effect, which reduces air resistance and saves energy. This phenomenon complements the well-known V-formation flight used by migratory species, like geese. Canada is one of the places where this behavior is observed during long migrations. Both flight styles are efficient adaptations. In September of 2018, in Itoliko, Greece, a giant spiderweb of about 300 meters appeared. It covered vegetation and coastal structures and was woven by spiders of the Tetragnatha genus, known for their long jaws. This phenomenon does not happen every year, but can repeat in cycles depending on the climate. That year, the heat and humidity favored the growth of mosquitoes, the main food of these spiders. The demographic explosion of the insect caused the proliferation of spider webs. Although unusual, it does not pose a serious risk to humans. This is the Alida succinia, a species of marine annelid. If you observe it closely, you can see how blood flows through its dorsal vessel. This is responsible for pumping blood through its abdominal part to its head. This is the Megatherium, the largest sloth on record. It had an impressive size of more than 6 meters in height and behaved exactly like the sloths we know today. It lived in South America, but sadly, human hunting caused the extinction of this strange animal. The sailfish and the marlin belong to the same family, but they are distinct species. The sailfish is considered the fastest fish in the ocean, reaching up to 119 kilometers per hour over short distances. The blue marlin is also fast, though its average speed is lower. Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer, reaches close to 10 kilometers per hour. Termites never sleep. These tireless insects work 24 hours a day building their nests and looking for food. They do not have a regular sleep cycle like humans, which allows them to keep a colony always in operation. Thanks to this incessant activity, termites are known for creating enormous and complex underground structures. Dragonflies have a 360-degree panoramic view. The compound eyes of dragonflies provide them with this vision, which allows them to detect prey and predators in all directions. This complete vision of the world around them is crucial for their survival. Beavers' teeth are adapted for gnawing and cutting wood. They can knock down trees using their sharp incisors and then use the wood to build dams and dens. The ostrich's eye is larger than its brain. These animals have large eyes that allow them to detect potential predators and prey at a distance. Humans eat more bananas than monkeys. In general, primates feed on other animals, insects, plants, and fruits, but not only bananas. The monkeys that live in the zoo like the sound of traffic. This is the conclusion of a study conducted in Finland. Researchers installed sensors in the park so that the primates could choose the sounds they wanted to hear. There were 4 options: a recording of a rainy day, dance music, relaxing sounds, and the winner, traffic. Whenever they activated this option, the monkeys slept or caressed each other. This is because car horns produce sounds that primates use to communicate, such as whistles and squeals. I present to you the thresher shark. Its most striking feature is the elongated shape of its tail, which measures almost as much as the rest of its body. Furthermore, its name is attributed to its use of its tail to strike and stun schools of fish and even birds when they are swimming near the water's surface. It whips its tail like a lash at an average speed of almost 50 kilometers per hour, which proves to be a very efficient method for obtaining food. A jellyfish bloom is a massive and localized increase in their population, which can affect ecosystems and coastal activities. These phenomena are often linked to rising temperatures or changes in salinity. Jellyfish gather in large numbers near the surface. They can cause problems for tourism, fishing, and industrial plants. Polar bears are excellent swimmers. Although generally associated with the ice and snow of the Arctic, polar bears are expert swimmers and can cover long distances in the water. They can swim at speeds of up to 10 kilometers per hour and travel hundreds of kilometers without rest in search of food. Hippos can run at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour. To give you an idea, The maximum speed that a human has reached is 45 kilometers per hour. Despite their appearance, hippos are extremely fast. These are the jumping beans of Mexico, whose secret behind their curious movements is in some larvae. In reality, they are bush seeds inside which insect eggs, known as the jumping bean moth, have been laid. This happens because the insect takes advantage of the inside of the seed to feed and can live inside it for months. The beans jump as a survival mechanism for the moth, which reacts to heat, as this could cause it to dry out and then die. Meet Kavan, considered for a time the loneliest elephant in the world. The reason for this nickname is because for 2 decades he lived without the company of other animals in a zoo in Pakistan. In addition, he did not have the veterinary attention he needed, but on the contrary, he was mistreated by his caregivers. Eventually, he developed psychosis and began to suffer from obesity due to the high-sugar diet he was served. Fortunately, everything began to change in December of the year 2020 when, thanks to a group of volunteers, he was taken to an animal sanctuary in Cambodia. Recorded in Florida, United States, this video shows a bird of prey capturing what appears to be a shark. By its appearance, it could be a bald eagle, although there is also the possibility that it is an osprey, known for hunting fish. The captured animal is not necessarily a small shark. It could be a large tarpon, as both species inhabit coastal waters and have similar shapes from a certain distance. This strange Japanese fashion consists of cutting your pet's hair so that it looks like a cube. By the way, these are the 25 most used dog breeds in the history of cinema so far. 562 German Shepherds have appeared in movies, 284 bulldogs, and 209 poodles. Located in Scotland, the Overtoun Bridge, built in 1859, connects 2 hills over the Overtoun Burn, and has gained sad fame due to a series of mysterious incidents. Since the 1960s, numerous dogs have jumped from the bridge, many of them dying, leading to speculation about possible supernatural forces. Despite scientific explanations suggesting that the smells of animals and rodents at the bottom of the ravine attract dogs, the phenomenon remains enigmatic. Humpback whales sing complex songs. They are known for their elaborate and distinctive songs that can last up to 20 minutes and be repeated for hours. These songs can contain complex patterns of sounds and are believed to play a role in whale communication and mating. Lobsters cannot die of old age because they possess an enzyme called telomerase, which allows them to regenerate their cells indefinitely. However, this does not mean they are immortal, as they can succumb due to other causes such as predators, diseases, or exhaustion. In addition, lobsters over 100 years old and of large size have been recorded. The cat has a unique facial structure that allows it to make purring sounds. The cat's facial structure includes special bones in its throat and larynx that allow it to produce purring sounds when they are happy or relaxed. Purring is a form of communication and can also have therapeutic benefits for the cat. Desmodus rotundus, or the common vampire bat, are the only mammals that feed exclusively on blood. They can consume up to half their weight in a single night. These well-known bats sleep during the day in total darkness, hanging upside down from cave ceilings. They usually group in colonies of about 100 individuals, although sometimes they live in groups numbering over 1,000. In 1 year, a colony of 100 vampires can drink the equivalent of 25 cows. The vampire hunts in the darkest hours of the night, usually choosing horses or cattle while they sleep, but they are also known to feed on humans. The acorn woodpecker inhabits from the southern United States to Colombia. This bird drills holes in dead trees to store acorns, creating structures called granaries. A single specimen can make up to 50,000 perforations in a tree, although exceptional cases reach higher figures. The behavior is cooperative, and the granaries are reused for generations. Camels can eat plants and cacti with thorns without suffering any damage. This is because the inside of their mouth is lined with very thick papillae that serve as a protective layer, preventing sharp spines from piercing their cheeks and tongues. In addition, they cause the thorns to slide carefully down their throat, so they do not feel any pain while swallowing them. Spiderwebs can freeze in mountainous regions like the high peaks of Córdoba, Argentina, where temperatures drop below zero. Being made of proteins, they maintain their structure under ice if there is no wind or physical alteration. Some spiders tolerate intense cold through biological mechanisms such as the production of cryoprotectants. The Tasmanian devil, a carnivorous marsupial endemic to the island of Tasmania, is famous for its fierce growl and great strength for its size. The curious thing is that this small but powerful animal has survived extinction on the Australian continent. but is in danger due to a contagious disease. Conservation efforts have intensified to protect this emblematic species from extinction. Introducing the leopard tortoise, one of the largest and most striking tortoises in all of Africa. Adult specimens usually reach a length of about 40 centimeters and weigh about 13 kilograms. However, in exceptional cases, some specimens have grown to be 70 centimeters long and have weighed up to 40 kilograms. This variety's name comes from the spots on its shell, which are similar to a leopard's. This tortoise feeds exclusively on plants. If you ever encounter a puma, never turn your back on it. These expert ambush felines will wait for you to turn around to attack. Walk backwards slowly, keeping your eyes on the puma, avoiding direct eye contact, as it will interpret it as a challenge. Maintain a firm posture and raise your arms to appear larger. Do not run, as that awakens their chasing instinct. Some fish can associate the human presence with food, especially in controlled environments where they are fed regularly. Examples of this habituation are observed in species such as koi in Japan or certain fish in protected areas of Turkey. Recent studies show that some fish are capable of recognizing human faces and following specific divers. Meet the sarcastic fringehead or Neoclinus blanchardi, one of the most terrifying animals on the bottom of the sea. It is a species from the Pacific Ocean that has a quite spooky appearance. It is known for the appearance of its lateral plecos and the fearsome way it opens its mouth. In fact, the most interesting thing about this animal is that to dominate its territory it performs a fight similar to giving a kiss, and whoever has the biggest mouth wins the battle. Have you ever wondered why flamingos are pink? The reason is their diet. These birds feed on small crustaceans called Artemia salina, which contain pink pigments, causing their feathers to acquire that peculiar color. This is what a cross between a tigress and a lion looks like. It is known as a liger and is only born with human intervention. It can measure up to 4 meters long and weigh up to 500 kilograms. It is larger than its parents. Its color is between orange and yellow, and although they are not very visible, they have the stripes of the tiger. The male develops the lion's mane, is sociable like his father, and likes water like his mother. Bluefin tuna can reach speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour in short bursts. This incredible speed allows them to efficiently hunt their prey, such as small fish and squid, as well as avoid their natural predators. Koala bears, despite their name, are not bears, but marsupials belonging to the same family as kangaroos and wombats. They are native to Australia and feed mainly on eucalyptus leaves. The company Hotlicks has been creating edible insect candies for more than 25 years. They make everything from scorpion lollipops to chocolate worms. The creators assure that these products are not only not harmful, but are even beneficial for humans. There is a bat that looks exactly like Yoda from Star Wars. Let me introduce you to the curious Yoda bat. Its name is due to its resemblance to the strange character from Star Wars. It is a species discovered 15 years ago and only inhabits Papua New Guinea. It uses its large eyes to locate itself and find food, a quality that differentiates it from most of its relatives, which must emit sounds to recognize the position of objects, a process known as echolocation. In addition, it feeds on fruits, being a very important animal for its ecosystem, as it spreads seeds in tropical forests. This is a mandarin wasp, or better known as the Asian giant hornet. This wasp is extremely aggressive and has a potent venom that is even capable of dissolving flesh. This makes its sting not only last a very long time, but also very dangerous. In Japan, many people have already died because of this wasp, which is why other countries are very worried about it eventually arriving. The fan-throated lizard, scientifically known as Sitana ponticeriana, inhabits South Asia, including India and Nepal. It is an oviparous reptile that lays eggs during its breeding season. Males develop a vibrantly colored gular sac to attract females. This is New Kim, the most expensive racing pigeon in history. It was sold at an auction for approximately $1.5 million, and believe it or not, the bidding started at less than 25. The case of this bird is very peculiar because it is a female and generally males have the highest prices. However, New Kim, at just 2 years of age, won her first and only race in the year 2018, becoming the youngest champion in these competitions. Filmed in Texas, United States, this is the dog train. It was created by American philanthropist Eugene Bostick. The train's purpose is to take abandoned dogs for rides around the city and forest. It's a heartwarming initiative that offers exercise, fun, and adventure to many animals. This is the amazing ability of the mountain goat to climb almost vertical cliffs, a true acrobat of nature. Some animals have false eyes in their fur to deter predators. For example, tigers have white spots on the back of their ears to prevent attacks from behind. Other animals, like vultures, appear to have much larger eyes to look more intimidating. The hummingbird is the only bird that can fly backwards thanks to its ability to move its wings in a unique flight pattern. This ability allows them to feed on nectar from flowers in all directions and distinguishes them from other birds. Female mosquitoes often live longer than male mosquitoes. Only female mosquitoes bite people and animals to feed on blood, but they not only use blood for nourishment, but also use it to produce their eggs. Mosquito bites can cause an itchy bump, but some people may have a stronger reaction. Flamingos bend their legs at the ankle and not at the knee. Their knees are closer to the body and are covered by feathers. The part that goes from the toes to the ankle is actually the entire foot. Mayflies are insects found in many regions, including California. Their name alludes to their brief adult life, which can last only a few hours. However, in their aquatic larval stage, they can live for up to 4 years. They inhabit rivers and lakes, where they are indicators of good water quality. There are thousands of species distributed throughout the world, except in Antarctica. During their massive emergence, they form temporary clouds of individuals. This behavior usually occurs near freshwater bodies. This is what a snake looks like while shedding its skin. Unlike us humans, a snake's skin is not elastic and they have to shed it all at once. If they did not, they would suffocate from lack of circulation. This process also helps them regenerate any damage they have received and to free themselves from parasites. Despite their enormous size and short arms, Tyrannosaurus rexes are believed to have been excellent swimmers and could swim for many kilometers in open water. In this video from the Schmidt Oceanographic Institute, you can see the Vitrilledonella richardi, a transparent octopus that had never been seen so closely. Its sighting is very rare due to the depths at which it lives, since they range from 1,000 to 4,000 meters deep. Raccoons have an impressive memory. A study conducted in the 1990s showed that raccoons could remember the solution to problems and tasks up to 3 years after learning them. This high level of intelligence and memory makes them some of the most cunning and adaptable animals in urban environments. Recorded in Soraha, Nepal, this wild rhinoceros belongs to the species Rhinoceros unicornis, native to India and Nepal. Thanks to protected reserves like Chitwan National Park, its population has grown from fewer than 100 to almost 700 specimens in Nepal since the 1970s. This has made it more common to see them walking through nearby urban areas, sometimes in search of food. This is the largest of the Asian rhinos. It is characterized by its unique skin armor, which has folds that give it an armored appearance. Its single horn, made of keratin, the same material as hair and nails, can measure between 10 and 36 centimeters. Sea Cliff State Beach, located in Aptos, California, is known for its coastal landscape. It is common to see many seagulls in the area due to its proximity to the ocean and fishing activity. Pandas are technically carnivores. You probably wouldn't have imagined it because we only see them eating bamboo, but their DNA classifies them within the bear family, whose diet is made up of some percentage of meat. However, this is not the case for pandas, as they feed only on about 30 species of bamboo. This peculiarity is due to an adaptation in their habitat in the mountains of China, where this plant is abundant. And although these animals still have their carnivorous intestines, their diet is vegan. There's a type of bat whose mothers throw their babies out of the nest. It is the Euryderma bilobatum. Females push their young with their forearms and encourage them to wean and start flying. This allows the baby bats to become independent in just 1 month. These manatee calves are not biting their mother's fins, they are drinking breast milk. The nipples of these animals are found in this curious place. This is the King Koi Coffee Garden, a restaurant where you eat surrounded by koi fish. The owners of the place say there are approximately 3,000 fish swimming around the tables. The American company Edge Innovations developed a high-precision animatronic dolphin. Its design simulates the behavior of a real dolphin, with realistic movements, breathing, and floating. The model has been used in marine shows and educational demonstrations as an ethical alternative. Its objective is to replace the use of real animals in aquariums and exhibitions. Believe it or not, bees could replace drones in crop fields. The University of Washington created a small, smart backpack that can be worn by these animals. This backpack sends real-time information about the bee's location to create a kind of two-dimensional map. In this way, farmers will be able to monitor their land with the help of these small flying insects. Thousands of birds often perch on power lines in different regions, especially in urban areas. They do so for several reasons. The cables offer stability, a good height for surveillance, and in cold climates, some residual heat. It is a common behavior among gregarious species. They do not get electrocuted because there is no potential difference when they are on a single wire. Donkeys have an incredible memory. They can remember places and recognize other donkeys and humans after 25 years. They are surprisingly intelligent and emotional animals, and their famous stubbornness is due to their ability to reflect on dangerous situations and decide whether to move forward or back away. Hermit crabs are known for their practice of inhabiting empty snail shells to protect their soft bodies. As they grow, they change shells and can use a variety of sizes and types of shells as a refuge. There are grasshoppers in Central and South America that use camouflage similar to that of lichens, barks, or mosses. This camouflage allows them to go unnoticed by birds, reptiles, and other visual predators. Genera such as Tropidacris and Sphinginotus show cryptic patterns and plant mimicry. Their appearance can be confused with elements of the environment. The white-tailed deer can jump up to 3 meters in the air. This video was taken on a highway in Poland, and here you can observe not only the speed that these beautiful animals have, but also their enormous jumping ability that allows them to cover an entire road in a single leap. During rains, it is common for homes to be invaded by insects seeking shelter. Among them, some hemiptera, such as bedbugs and aphids, can proliferate with the increase of vegetation. Meet the world's largest bat. I'm talking about the Philippine flying fox. It measures 1.7 meters and weighs up to 1.5 kilograms. It lives in the wooded areas of the Mindanao jungles in the Philippines. Despite its large size, the Philippine flying fox is an agile and fast animal in the air, since it can reach speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour and travel distances of more than 40 kilometers in a single night. The so-called panda ant is actually a wasp of the species Euspinolia militaris. The females do not have wings and possess a very painful stinger, while the males do have wings but no stinger. Their black and white color is aposematic, designed to scare off predators. It is native to Chile, although it has also been reported in other arid areas of the Americas. Despite its name, it has no relation to ants or pandas. The wolf spider belongs to the Lycosidae family and is known for its unique maternal behavior. The female carries an egg sac attached to her abdomen, and after hatching, the spiderlings climb onto her back until they complete their first molt. This habit is not observed in other spider species. Although they are often called European wolf spiders, they also inhabit the Americas, Asia, and Africa. Their bite rarely poses a danger to humans. It can cause mild irritation, except in allergic individuals. Emperor penguins can dive to depths of more than 500 meters. They are excellent divers and use their wings to propel themselves underwater. They can stay submerged for more than 20 minutes in a single dive. During migration, hundreds of geese fly in a V formation to optimize their effort. This structure allows them to take advantage of the air currents generated by the movement of their companions. The goose that goes behind benefits from less resistance, which reduces energy expenditure. It is a natural pattern of aerial cooperation. This is Gustav, a giant Nile crocodile who has become famous for his large size. He lives in Burundi and, according to locals, has devoured more than 300 people. He is believed to measure between 5 and 6 meters long, weigh about 1 ton, and be between 60 and 100 years old. In the year 2019, it was reported that he had been captured, but the information was not very precise, and for that reason, some people believe that he is still at large and terrorizing the inhabitants of the area. Meet the Basenji, the only dog breed that does not bark. Originally from Central Africa, this ancient breed communicates through a peculiar howl, growls, and moans. Its inability to bark is due to the fact that its vocal cords are narrower and finer, and the phonation apparatus is located in the larynx, similar to that of humans. Dogs are smarter than you think. They can even perform simple mathematical operations. These animals can count various types of objects if placed in front of them and even identify written numbers. Their cognitive ability is comparable to that of a 2-year-old child, and because they are a domestic species, they can learn a lot from what their owners do. Believe it or not, these dinosaurs are completely real. They are hyper-realistic robotic suits controlled by humans from the inside. These suits were created by the Japanese company On Art, and the funny thing is that, although people know that they are not real dinosaurs, they react with a lot of fear when they come across these designs. Look at this Coca-Cola advertisement. What you see are pigeons arranged in a formation that spells out the brand's name. This occurred in the 60s in St. Mark's Square in Venice, Italy. The trick was to use large quantities of birdseed to form the word Coca-Cola on the ground. Thus, the birds were attracted by the food and were distributed following the pattern in which the birdseed had been placed. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe so you don't miss more interesting content. Leave your comments and click on any of these videos. See you next time.